Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into something pretty fascinating this time. The legendary ghost stories of the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel.
Oh, the Banff Springs.
You know that incredible castle in the Rockies?
Yeah.
To the Canadian Rockies.
It's gorgeous.
It really is. Built way back in 1888.
Wow.
It's not just a hotel, though. It's steeped in history.
I bet.
And apparently also home to some pretty fascinating ghosts.
So we're talking ghosts in a castle. That's pretty perfect.
It really is. And that's what we're going to explore today.
That sounds fun.
We've got tons of stuff to go through. Articles, guest accounts, even some historical records about the hotel.
Wow, you guys did your research.
We did. Our mission is to figure out what makes the Banff Springs such a magnet for ghost stories and why we're still so fascinated by them.
That's a good question. I mean, everyone loves a good ghost story.
They really do.
But there's something about this place, right? Is it the history, the setting?
I think it's a bit of everything.
Okay.
We'll look at the stories, of course. But we'll also delve into why they appeal to us, the historical context, and maybe even look at how the hotel itself might contribute to the spooky atmosphere.
Right, the architecture.
Exactly.
Cool.
Okay, let's jump right in.
Sounds good.
I want to start with the Ghost Bride story. It's a classic in haunted hotel lore.
Oh, I've heard of this one. Isn't it about a bride who died on the grand staircase?
You got it.
Hmm.
Her dress caught fire, she fell, and, well, it's a tragic story.
Oh, that's awful.
It really is. But it's also more than just a spooky tale.
How so?
Well, it kind of gives us a glimpse into Victorian societal anxieties,
I see.
particularly around marriage and the expectations placed upon women back then.
I can see that. The pressure to have the perfect wedding.
Exactly. Imagine, if you will, this young bride on her wedding day. Her beautiful gown suddenly catches fire on the grand staircase.
I mean, talk about a nightmare scenario.
Right. The shock, the horror, the tragic fall.
It makes you wonder if something that tragic could actually imprint itself on a place, become a part of its story.
It's a powerful thought.
It is, and it's something you see a lot in ghost stories.
Oh, for sure.
This idea of a sudden tragic death leaving a spirit with unfinished business.
Yeah.
It's something that resonates with us on a deep level, don't you think?
Absolutely. It taps into our fears of the unknown and just how fragile life can be.
I think you're right. It makes you think about your own mortality.
Definitely.
Now, if the Ghost Bride story is about those deep-seated fears, the story of room 873 seems to tap into something a bit more sinister.
Oh, definitely. This one's creepy.
Tell me about it. Allegedly, a man murdered his family and himself in that room.
And guests have reported all sorts of strange happenings.
Like what?
Screams, bloody handprints, even the ghost of a little girl.
No way.
It's a truly disturbing story.
It really is.
And it plays into our anxieties about violence and the idea that evil could be lurking beneath the surface of a seemingly peaceful place.
Like a hotel room, you mean?
Especially one as grand and historic as the Banff Springs.
You almost expect a hotel like that to have a few secrets.
Right. And what's interesting about room 873 is how the mystery around it has grown over time.
Oh, yeah. There are so many different versions of the story.
Exactly. Some say the room was sealed up, the door blended into the wall, like it never existed.
Right. Well, others say it never even existed at all.
It's hard to know what to believe.
Which just makes it all the more intriguing, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's like the less we know, the more our imaginations run wild.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder if there's any truth to the stories. Or if they've been embellished over time, you know.
Oh, I'm sure some details get exaggerated along the way.
Like a game of telephone.
Right.
Where the details get distorted with each retelling.
It makes sense.
It's a testament to how much we love a good ghost story, though, right?
Absolutely. We're fascinated by the unknown.
It's human nature.
I've always wondered about that.
Yeah.
Why are we so drawn to the things that scare us?
It's a good question.
Maybe it's the adrenaline rush.
Maybe. Or maybe it's a way to confront our fears in a safe environment. That's an interesting thought. Like, if you can handle a scary story, maybe you can handle anything life throws at you.
I like that.
Me too. It's almost empowering in a way.
But you know, not all the ghosts at the Banff Springs are said to be scary or malevolent.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's the story of Sam the friendly bellman.
I haven't heard that one.
It's a nice change of pace from all the spooky stuff.
Okay, tell me more.
He's said to be a helpful spirit, a former bellman from the mid-20th century who still roams the halls, opening doors for guests, offering directions, and then vanishing into thin air.
That's sweet. I like him already.
Right. It's almost comforting to think that even after death, someone might still be around to lend a helping hand.
It is. And I think it taps into a deeper human desire.
What do you mean?
Well, we all want to believe there's more after death, right? That the people we love are still around in some way.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a way to cope with loss.
And to find comfort in the idea that maybe we're not alone in the universe, even after we're gone.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder, though,
About what?
if the ghosts are drawn to the Banff Springs, or if it's the other way around.
What do you mean?
Like, are we projecting our hopes, fears, and longings onto this grand old hotel, bringing the ghosts to life through our stories?
Oh, that's a deep thought.
Is it possible we're creating the ghosts we want to see?
I don't know, but it's definitely something to think about.
Right.
And it really highlights how these stories are as much about us as they are about the ghosts themselves.
For sure. They reflect our fears, our beliefs, and our fascination with that line between what we know and what we don't.
And maybe that's the real reason we're so drawn to them. They help us explore those deeper questions about life, death, and what might lie beyond.
It's all pretty fascinating, isn't it? We've just scratched the surface here.
I know. There's so much more to uncover.
We'll be back soon with part 2 of our deep dive into the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. And we'll delve even further into the stories and the people that have made this place a legend.
I can't wait. This is going to be good.
It's amazing how the hotel itself almost becomes a character in these stories.
Right.
Like, it's not just the ghosts, but the setting too.
Oh, for sure. The architecture definitely plays a role.
It's like it was designed to be spooky.
It kind of was, if you think about it. Those long corridors, the huge ballrooms, and all those little hidden corners.
It's perfect for a ghost story. Can you imagine being there, turning a corner and seeing something out of the corner of your eye?
Or hearing a noise when you're alone in a hallway. I'd freak out.
Totally. Wouldn't take much to make your imagination run wild in a place like that.
And then you add in the history.
Yeah.
And it's no wonder people have so many ghost stories about the Banff Springs.
Speaking of history, you mentioned the Banff Springs was used as a hospital for soldiers during World War II.
It was a convalescent hospital for injured soldiers.
Wow. I can only imagine the emotional weight that must have been present.
It must have been heavy.
All those soldiers carrying their trauma and their memories.
It makes you wonder if some of the ghosts people see might be connected to that era.
Like maybe their energy is still lingering.
It's possible. Maybe they're searching for peace or closure.
That's a really interesting thought. It's not always about something evil or scary.
Right. Maybe some of these ghosts are just lost or confused.
Or maybe they're just trying to connect with the living.
It's kind of sad when you think about it.
It is. And it makes these stories even more compelling.
They really make you think about life and death and what might come after.
And whether or not we're truly alone in this world.
Exactly. It's like anything is possible.
There was another story in our research that I found particularly intriguing.
Oh, yeah. What was it?
It was about a bellman who just vanished.
Vanished, like without a trace.
Yep. One day he was there, the next he was gone.
What happened?
Nobody knows. He left his keys on a table and it was never seen again.
That's crazy.
Right. It's like something out of a mystery novel.
Did they think something happened to him in the hotel?
There's no evidence of foul play, but there's also no explanation for why he would just disappear.
So it's a complete mystery.
It really is. And I think that's what makes it so fascinating.
The not knowing.
Yeah. It leaves you with so many questions, and it plays into our love of unsolved mysteries.
We all want to believe there's an answer out there somewhere.
I know I do. It's like, even in a place with so much history and documentation, there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered.
And maybe some secrets are better left that way.
Ooh, that's a spooky thought.
It is, isn't it? But it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does. You know, with all these ghost stories we've been talking about,
Yeah.
I'm curious, do you actually believe in ghosts?
That's a tough one. I think it's important to keep an open mind.
I agree.
Whether or not you believe in the supernatural, there's no denying the power of these stories.
That's true. They capture our imaginations and make us think about things we might not otherwise consider.
Exactly. And the fact that there are so many ghost stories associated with the Banff Springs,
Right.
it makes you wonder if there's something special about that place.
Maybe it's the combination of history, architecture, and the natural beauty of the surroundings.
Could be. Or maybe there's something deeper at play, something we can't fully comprehend.
It's like this grand old hotel is a portal to another realm, a place where the veil between the living and the dead is thin.
And that sense of the unknown is what keeps us coming back for more. We crave those shivers down our spines, those moments that make us question what's real.
It's almost like we're looking for proof that there's more to life than what we can see and touch.
Maybe we are. And maybe the Banff Springs is one of those places where we're more likely to find it.
It's wild, right? All these ghost stories.
Yeah.
But people still flock to the Banff Springs.
You'd think they'd be scared off.
Right. You'd think so? But it seems like the opposite is true.
People love a good mystery.
They do. It's like the possibility of seeing a ghost just adds to the excitement.
It's like a real-life ghost hunt, but with room service.
Exactly. Luxury ghost hunting. But seriously, why do you think people are so drawn to these stories, even when they're a bit spooky?
Well, I think it's that curiosity we all have about what we don't understand.
That makes sense.
It lets us sort of explore the boundaries of what's real.
And think about the mysteries of life and death.
Yeah, all within a safe, a compelling story.
It's true. We can get those chills without actually being in danger.
Right. And in a world that can feel, predictable sometimes.
Mundane.
Yeah, mundane. Those glimpses into the unknown can be really exciting.
Like a breath of fresh air.
Exactly. And you know what else I think is really cool?
What's that?
How these stories connect us to the past.
Oh, I see what you mean.
When we hear about a ghost at the Banff Springs,
Yeah.
we're not just hearing about a ghost, right? We're connecting to the history of the hotel, the people who were there before us.
It's like those people become part of the story, too.
They do. And the events that happen there, they all kind of shape the legacy of the place.
It's like the hotel itself is alive,
Breathing.
I know what you mean. With stories woven into every part of it, and those stories just keep evolving, getting more layered with each retelling.
That's the power of oral tradition.
It's how we as humans try to make sense of the world, isn't it?
It is. We shape and reshape these narratives until they fit into our understanding of things.
So, as we wrap up our deep dive into the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, what's the biggest takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about?
I think it's this. Mystery is a part of life.
A big part, probably.
Yeah. We try to understand everything to be logical.
Use reason.
Exactly. But there will always be things that we just don't get.
And that's okay.
It is. Those are the things that spark our imaginations, that keep us wondering.
And those unanswered questions, they're often the most interesting ones, aren't they?
They are. They push us to explore, to keep asking questions, to search for meaning.
To never stop being curious.
Exactly. Even in a world full of technology and instant answers, there's still a magic out there.
There's still things we can't explain.
And stories that remind us we're connected to something bigger than ourselves.
So, to everyone listening,
Yeah.
the next time you're somewhere with a rich history.
Like an old hotel, or even just your hometown.
Exactly. Take a moment to listen for those stories whispering through the walls.
You never know what secrets you might uncover.
Or what mysteries you might unravel. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, never lose that sense of wonder.